What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Downtown Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Dubai for Friday, December 30th, 2016, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, on Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. 2016, the year in review. At the movie theaters, Captain America Civil War, Finding Dory, and Zootopia grossed more than $1 billion, making them the 25th, 27th, and 26th films respectively to reach the $1 billion mark, and the 12th, 22nd, and 25th highest grossing films of all time. The latter two are also the 5th and 4th animated films respectively to reach the mark, following Toy Story 3 in 2010, Frozen 2013, and Minions in 2015. Finding Dory became the second Pixar film after Toy Story 3 to cross $1 billion, while Zootopia became the second Walt Disney Animation Studios film after Frozen, and the second original film after Avatar to reach the mark, being the 4th and 5th highest grossing animated films of all time. This marks the first time that two animated films grossed more than $1 billion in a single year. The Jungle Book grossed more than $966 million, making it the 31st highest grossing film of all time. The Secret Life of Pets has grossed more than $875 million, making it the 47th highest grossing film of all time and the 12th highest grossing animated film of all time. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice grossed more than $873 million, making it the 48th highest grossing film of all time. Walt Disney Studios became the fastest studio ever to reach $1 billion at the U.S. box office. It reached this goal on the 120th day of 2016, beating Universal Studios' record of reaching the goal of 100 at the 165th day of 2015. Disney previously recorded for reaching $1 billion at the North American box office was the 174th day of 2015. The studio also became the first to have 4 of its releases, Finding Dory, Captain America Civil War, and The Jungle Book and Zootopia, from a single year reach $300 million domestically, and the first to release 4 films within a single franchise. The Marvel Cinematic Universe that each grossed over $1 billion, with Captain America Civil War joining 2012's The Avengers, 2013's Iron Man 3, and 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron. The Marvel Cinematic Universe also became the first franchise to gross more than $10 billion. On top of that, Disney also matched Universal's 2015 record for most films from a single year, crossing $1 billion worldwide at 3. Captain America Civil War, Finding Dory, and Zootopia. Walt Disney Studios also became the first studio since at least 1989 to have the 4 highest grossing films worldwide in a single year. With the release of Rogue One, Disney became the first studio in cinematic history to gross more than $7 billion at the global box office, surpassing Universal's previous record of $6.9 billion. Deadpool became the second highest grossing R-rated domestic film of all time with $361.1 million after The Passion of the Christ, which made $378.8 million in 2004. Zootopia became the highest grossing original animated film not based on anything of all time, along with Finding Dory became one of 2 animated films to earn $1 billion in the same year, a first in cinematic history. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice became the biggest worldwide opening weekend ever for a superhero film, with $422.5 million, surpassing The Avengers, which made $392.5 million in 2012. The Mermaid became the highest grossing film ever in China, and the first film ever to earn over $500 million without a wide North American release. Warcraft became the highest grossing video game adaptation worldwide with $433.5 million, surpassing Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which made $336.4 million in 2010. Finding Dory grossed $135.1 million domestically and $185.7 million worldwide in its opening weekend, making records for the biggest domestic opening weekend for both Pixar and any animated film. The biggest worldwide opening weekend for Pixar surpassed Inside Out with $180.1 million in 2015, and the second biggest opening weekend worldwide for an animated film after Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs, which made $218.4 million in 2009. It later became the highest-grossing animated film at the North American box office, surpassing 2004's Shrek 2. Along with Zootopia, it became one of 2 animated films to earn $1 billion in the same year, first in cinematic history. It also became the 8th film to do so during the 2-year period of 2015 to 2016, surpassing the previous record of $7 billion films during the 2-year period of 2011 to 2012. And here are the highest grossing films of 2016. Number 10. Doctor Strange from Disney made $654,563,328. Number 9, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them from Warner Brothers made $722,615,251. Number 8, Suicide Squad from Warner Brothers made $745,600,054. Number 7, Deadpool from 20th Century Fox made $783,112,979. Number 6, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice from Warner Brothers made $873,260,194. Number 5, The Secret Life of Pets from Universal made $875,350,142. The Jungle Book from Disney made $966,550,600. Number 3, Zootopia from Disney made $1,023,784,195. Number 2, Finding Dory from Disney made $1,027,638,154. And Captain America: Civil War was the number 1 highest grossing film of 2016, making $1,153,304,495. At the 80th Academy Awards, Spotlight won 2 awards, including Best Picture, and Mad Max Fury Road won 6 awards, the most for the evening. The Revenant earned 3 awards, including Best Director for Alejandro G. Inarritu, and for Best Actor, the Academy Award finally went to Leonardo DiCaprio. Brie Larson won Best Actress for Room, whereas Mark Rylance and Alicia Vikander won supporting acting honors for Bridge of Spies and The Danish Girl, respectively. Telecast garnered 34.42 million viewers in the United States, making it the least-watched Oscar ceremony since the 80th Academy Awards in 2008. Shortly after the nominations were announced, many media outlets observed that there was a lack of racial diversity among the nominees in major categories. For the second consecutive year, all 20 acting nominees and 4 out of the 5 directors were nominated were Caucasian descent. Activist and former attorney April Rain, who was credited with starring the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite, tweeted, "It's actually worse than last year. Best documentary and best original screenplay. That is it. Hashtag #OscarsSoWhite." She has also noted that while the Caucasian screenwriters of the film Straight Outta Compton earned nominations, the African-American cast of the film was overlooked. As a result, the Academy was ridiculed again over social media with the aforementioned hashtag. Moreover, actress Jada Pinkett Smith and director and newly Oscar honorary award recipient Spike Lee announced plans to boycott the ceremony and encourage others to do so by not watching the telecast in protest of the lack of diversity. Actor and model Tyrese Gibson and rapper 50 Cent also pressured Chris Rock to drop out of his hosting duties. Others agreed that the Academy had a diversity problem and supported efforts towards change. Best Supporting Actress winner Lupita Nyong'o wrote, "I'm disappointed by the lack of inclusion in this year's Academy Award nominations. It has me thinking about unconscious prejudice and what merits prestige in our culture." She concluded by saying, "I stand with my peers who are calling for change and expanding the stories that are told and recognized of the people who tell them." In a Facebook post, Best Actress winner Reese Witherspoon expressed her frustration with the lack of diversity among the nominees and added, "Nothing can diminish the quality of their work. These filmmakers deserve a recognition. As an Academy member, I would love to see a more diverse voting membership." During an interview with several reporters, U.S. President Barack Obama commented on the controversy, saying, "I think when everybody's story is told, then that makes for better art. That makes for better entertainment, makes everybody feel part of one family, American family. So I think as a whole, the industry should do what every other industry should do, which is to look for talent, provide opportunities to everybody." A week after the nominations were announced, the Academy announced several rule changes regarding membership in hopes of increasing the number of women and minorities in the membership by 2020. Beginning in 2016, new members would earn Oscar voting privileges for the next 10 years. After that time period, those members may retain voting privileges for another 10 years if they have remained active in the motion picture industry. Members would earn lifetime voting privileges if they have served 3 consecutive 10-year voting eligibility terms or have earned or won an Academy Award. Sherbourne Isaacs justified the Academy's decision to overhaul the membership requirements, saying the Academy is going to lead and not wait for the industry to catch up. These new measurements regarding governance and voting will have an immediate impact and begin the process of significantly changing our membership composition. Furthermore, the Academy would establish 3 new governor seats that will be nominated by Isaacs and confirmed by the board. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie shocked the celebrity world when they announced their divorce in September after they reportedly began dating on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004. They married in 2014 and are parents to 6 children, 3 biological and 3 adopted. Here are a list of other celebrity couples who called it quits in 2016. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's May split came along with surprising allegations of abuse at the hands of Depp, who was accused of physically assaulting Heard. The two started dating in 2013 and married 2 years later in February 2015. Heard and Depp were married for 15 months. Lady Gaga and actor Taylor Kinney ended their engagement in July after 5 years of dating. Gaga and Kinney met on the set of her You and I music video in 2011 and announced their engagement in February 2015. Mariah Carey and Australian businessman James Packer called off their 10-month engagement in October, reportedly due to Carey's upcoming reality show, Mariah's World. Packer popped the question with a 35-carat diamond ring after less than a year of dating. Model Bella Hadid and the singer The Weeknd ended their relationship in November after almost 2 years together. In spite of the split, the former couple appeared on stage together at the Victoria's Secret fashion show in Paris at the end of November. Reality TV star Khloe Kardashian filed for divorce from NBA star Lamar Odom in May, the second time the famous sisters sought a split from the troubled basketball forward. Odom's substance abuse issues, which included a near-death experience in October 2015, led to the postponement of Kardashian's original filing. Jennifer Lopez and Casper Smart ended their on-again, off-again relationship in August after 5 years together. The pair started dating in 2011, shortly after Lopez's divorce from ex-husband Mark Anthony. Drew Barrymore and art consultant Will Kopelman ended their 4-year marriage in July after first separating in April. In a joint statement following the divorce, Barrymore and Kopelman said that their primary focus is now on their 2 young daughters. Taylor Swift and fellow musician Calvin Harris ended their 15-month relationship at the beginning of June after first meeting at the Brit Awards in 2015. Swift then started an internet firestorm when she began dating actor Tom Hiddleston, which lasted 3 months before the pair called it quits in September. Naomi Watts and Levi Schreiber ended their 11-year relationship in September, announcing their separation in a joint statement. They said, "Over the past few months, we've come to the conclusion that the best way forward for us as a family is to separate as a couple." Watts and Schreiber are parents to 8-year-old Sasha and 7-year-old Samuel. And Diana Kruger and Joshua Jackson announced their split in July after 10 years together. They started dating in 2006 and were engaged in 2014, though they never made it official. 2016 was the year for Game of Thrones. The fate of Commander Jon Snow, a character presumed dead in the Season 5 finale of Game of Thrones, was revealed in the 2nd episode of Season 6. Snow was stabbed multiple times by members of his Night's Watch, who objected to his decision to join forces with their sworn enemy, the Wildlings. His last remaining loyal followers were seen in the Season 6 premiere of the HBO medieval fantasy series, holed up in a room guarding Snow's body. Priestess Melisandre, played by Clarice Van Houten, cleaned Snow's wounds and worked her mysterious magic over him. When she doesn't appear to revive Snow, she and the men leave him alone with his wolf companion Ghost and go to prepare his funeral. Snow is seen in the episode's final moments waking up and gasping for breath. Kit Harington, the actor who plays Snow, used an interview with Entertainment Weekly to apologize to fans for lying to them in an effort to keep whether he lives or dies a surprise until the right time. The actor said, "Sorry. I'd like to say sorry for lying to everyone. I'm glad that people were upset that he died. I think my biggest fear was that people were not going to care, or it would just be fine, Jon Snow's dead." But it seems like people had a similar to the Red Wedding kind of grief about it, which means something I'm doing or the show is doing is right. And Game of Thrones has won more Emmys than any primetime TV show ever. The HBO fantasy drama won 3 awards at the 68th Annual Emmy Awards, pushing its lifetime total numbers of awards to 38, one more than Frasier, the previous all-time record holder. Throne picked up awards for Best Writing in a Drama Series, Best Directing in a Drama Series, and Best Drama. Overall, Thrones won 12 Emmys this year out of 23 nominations. The series already became the most honored drama series after picking up 9 Emmys at the Creative Arts ceremony surpassing longtime holders Hill Street Blues and The West Wing. By scoring another 3 awards, Thrones became the only primetime scripted series to ever have won this many awards. While Thrones lost in the drama acting category, it took home Best Drama for a second straight year. The shows up for the Best Drama award were The Americans, House of Cards, Downton Abbey, Better Call Saul, Mr. Robot, and Homeland. The record is particularly impressive considering Thrones has only been on 6 seasons, while Frasier was on for 11. And Frasier was competing in an era of only a few TV channels, whereas this year offered more than 400 scripted shows. The Thrones has the advantage of being lavishly produced drama that's competitive in so many categories, from special effects to costumes to writing to directing to acting. Thrones still hasn't won more Emmys than any TV series. However, Saturday Night Live has 45. But it's an unscripted non-primetime series that has been on the air for 42 years. But among primetime script series, Thrones is now the undisputed king. Season 7 premiere of AMC's The Walking Dead was seen by 20.8 million total viewers. This episode of the zombie apocalypse drama featured the gruesome deaths of longtime characters Glenn and Abraham, played by Stephen Yang and Michael Cutlitz, at the hands of new villain Negan, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Charles Collier, president of AMC, Sundance TV, and AMC Studios, said in a statement, "Millions of fans come together at almost exactly the same time to share a story elevated that viewers anticipated and have time to let sink in and discuss moments we collectively feel. It is as good as television gets and a reminder of the power of weekly storytelling. This week's The Walking Dead once again proved that for all of us. Rest in peace, Glenn and Abraham. You will never be forgotten." Whatever you say about 2016, it was a year packed with brilliant TV. The small screen gave us our most exhilarating, horrifying moments over the last 12 months, as the most restlessly innovative art form of our time keeps evolving at warp speed. TV had it all: ambitious dramas, smart-ass comedies, political mockery, stoners, jokers, rappers, sci-fi monsters, truthers, Hollywood murder trials, The Battle of the Bastards, and Frozen Waffles. These shows were the best of this year. High Maintenance from HBO. Ben Sinclair and Kasia Blitchfield's beloved web comedy translates smashingly into TV, giving us the ultimate dank New York story. The inner lives of city stoners as witnessed by the bearded stranger who delivers their weed, known only as the Guy. He's like the nameless Clint Eastwood gunfighter in a spaghetti western, except he gets mugged on his bike. The show takes a beautifully blunted look at the countless weird stories being lived out behind their locked hotbox doors. But none more fascinating than the tale of Gatsby the dog, who gets a whole episode, Grandpa, from his canine point of view, one of 2016's most dazzling half-hour trips. Lady Dynamite from Netflix. I had a major breakthrough in music therapy. I don't need to go to outpatient therapy because I am the C word. I am cured. Maria Bamford brings a boldly original kind of binge com with Lady Dynamite, not the kind of thing you'll ever see attempted before. Playing herself as a comedian with bipolar II disorder, flipping between auditions in Hollywood and being hospitalized in a psych ward back home in Duluth, Minnesota. The series stands in the front lines of shows, breaking new ground in the depiction of neurochemical disorders, but something about Bamford's compassionate touch makes it all seem like a laugh worth sharing. You're the Worst from FX. The realest couples on TV gets realer. Gretchen and Jimmy would rather just have sex and do drugs than face their feelings, but You're the Worst gets funnier as the feelings grow more complex. Jimmy is a mortifying portrait of a terrible writer, delusional in his hope the world would acclaim his World War II novel. Just so many descriptions of semen on stockings, but stockings are a symbol of the deprivation of the Second World War, as well as how much repressed Kitty's slutty legs wants semen on them. And Gretchen gets treatment from her "my brain is broken" situation, learning the different types of therapy. A psychiatrist is like, "Here, take these pills, ho." A therapist is all, "Oh, tell me your shit, I couldn't make it as an actor." Horace and Pete from LucyK.net. 10-act drama from Louis C.K., released as a surprise on his own website, writing and directing the whole thing himself. It's different from Louis in every way, except the stubborn refusal to follow any formula, even his own. Horace and Pete is set in a Brooklyn dive bar that's been passed down from generation to generation, like a lot of traumas in this family. Steve Buscemi really nails the mood as Pete, the cousin cursed with remembering all the family history. I said that I have a good memory, not that I have good memories. The whole cast excels. Alan Alda is a right-wing bigot, Jessica Lange, Edie Falco, Laura Metcalf. Plus the brilliant presence of Paul Simon, who sings the theme song as well as bellying up to the bar, just another customer watching his life slip-sliding away. Broad City from Comedy Central. Abby Jacobson and Ileana Glazer have so much contagiously intoxicating chemistry they could spend a whole season just shooting the shit about pugs and pegs and Rihanna. So give the broads credit for pushing in new directions this year, including some surprising tricky romance dilemmas. Abby and Ileana take on the world, from the killer Jews on the plane episode where they tried to score tampons mid-flight. I'm sitting in a pool of my own uterine lining, to the one where they woo the hot hippie dude at the food co-op who uttered the fish quoting punchline of the year, "Deduct the carrots from your pay, you worthless swampy fool." BoJack Horseman from Netflix. This was the season our equine hero attempted a self-diagnosis. I think I'm just a dumbass. Can it just be that? Sorry, BoJack. It's a bit more complicated when you're a depressive alcoholic cartoon horse who's also the washed-up ex-star of the sitcom Horse in the Round. Raphael Bo Waxberg's animated satire went some new dark places this year, most impressively Under the Sea and Fish Out of Water, a nearly dialogue-free, lost-in-translation parody. I also saw the show's most astonishing half-hour yet. BoJack dons a diving helmet and heads for the bottom of the sea, a place where everybody speaks fish language and nothing resembles back home, only to find he's still the same dumbass. Better Things from FX. Pamela Aldons brings the pain when it comes to family life. We're all girls and we're all women, and we all bleed and we all suffer. Then the bleeding stops and we still suffer. After her attention-getting stint on Louie, she's a punk mom with her own sardonic style of single parenthood. When she finds a condom hidden in her teenager's daughter's room, it isn't time for a very special episode mother-daughter talk. She just steals it for herself. And in a year when menopause makes a comeback as a comedy gunpowder from Broad City, I totally forgot about menopause to Veep, Her Lady Fruit is Rotting. Better Things has the funniest episode about it since Edith Bunker, with Al Dawn announcing Amflo has left the station forever. Difficult People from Hulu. Wildly funny romance of the two best friends in the big city. You know, the kind of friends who stick together because they insulted and alienated everybody else in the big city. Judy Klausner and Billy Eichner, who's also still killing it in his own Billy on the Street, dream of making it in showbiz. Whether they brainstorm TV projects, Glee, but with dogs is a great idea, or their Hamilton-style hip-hop musical about Jimmy Carter. I was a peanut farmer, a southern charmer, making Palestine my Valentine like Greg meeting Dharma. Difficult People is a whirlwind of Costa's one-liners and celebrity cameos. Tina Fey, John Mulaney, Kay Pearson, and even Lin-Manuel Miranda, but the heart of its friction is between those two. Veep from HBO. Now more than ever, Julia Louis-Dreyfus' president Selena Myers has chosen the words for the American people of declaring the state of go fuck yourself. Veep kept setting new standards for high-speed hostility, even in its first season without creator Armando Iannucci. And even when its satire got outflanked by a real-life election year that turned into a tall glass of frozen strawberry fuck-up, as the nation collapsed, will be Grease, the country, not the musical. And Selena treats the White House staff like an alcoholic father who just stepped on a Lego. The show keeps throwing more horror into the mix. Special honors to Timothy Simmons as Jonah, probably the most loathsome fictional human on television, earning this compliment from Dan Bacon-Doll's runner-up Roger Furlong, who looked like Clark Kent if they dug up Christopher Reeve's corpse to play the part. Transparent from Amazon. Joe Soloway's family portrait remains one of a kind, even though we had 3 seasons to get to know the messed-up Pfeifferman clan. They keep revealing new quirks and traumas that we couldn't have imagined. Mara Pfeifferman, the ever-amazing Jeffrey Tambor, and her selfish upscale LA brood struggle with different kinds of transitioning, both surgical and spiritual. The season's MVP, Judith Light, as the often overlooked matriarch Shelley. She finally finds her voice via her one-woman cabaret show To Shell and Back, belting her impassionately poignant cruise ship rendition of Alanis Morissette's Hand in My Pocket. song that will never sound the same. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver from HBO. This 2016 brought home the unbelievably chicken shit totaling of the TV news machine more than ever, barely one step removed from Jimmy Fallon's stomach-turning smell-the-glove session with Donald Trump, destined to go down and suck up history alongside Sammy Davis Jr. smooching Richard Nixon. John Oliver came to look like some kind of accidental renegade. In his 15-minute long-form pieces, he's cool and collected, yet fraught with comic outrage. He nailed his election post-mortem, summing up Trump's agenda as to the do list on Satan's refrigerator, which incidentally Satan no longer needs now that the hell has frozen over. Orange is the New Black from Netflix. Who could have predicted this prison drama would get stronger each season? But Orange keeps reinventing itself as new inmates arrive at Litchfield Penitentiary with new stories. Samir Wiley's Pussy gets the most shattering moments, along with Diana Guerrero's Ramos, Danielle Brooks' Tasty, Chemo Glenn Soso, and Jessica Pimentel's Ruiz. Ramos also speaking the funniest lines. If I hadn't buried my feelings so deep that they only come up when I watch Stepmom, I would totally be tearing up right now. In that moment, that's both agonizing and comic. Yael Stone's Morello gets what you would have to classify as a conjugal visit. Fleabag from Amazon. I have a horrible feeling that I'm a greedy, perverted, selfish, apathetic, cynical, depraved, morally bankrupt woman who can't even call herself a feminist. Phoebe Waller-Bridge was this year's most hilariously toxic bachelorette living the dream in London, where she manages a guinea pig-themed cafe that's going out of business. In her spare time, she's a sex-obsessed, self-destructive kleptomaniac mess, hooking up with the clown parade of Britannia's sorest male specimens, venting about sex and society. Tits gets you nowhere these days, trust me. But she's hysterically funny and relatable as she keeps bringing a little misery into everybody's life, especially hers. The Americans, FX. There's never been a spy thriller anything like The Americans, which just keeps tightening the emotional screws. My suburban home in the 80s is haunted by the family's secret. Mom and Dad are Soviet spies. Their high school daughter knows the truth. The FBI agent next door doesn't yet. Matthew Rhys and Kerry Russell are superb as the couple bond by espionage as part of their sexual chemistry. And no TV drama uses music so brilliantly. The season finale moment with Leonard Cohen's Who by Fire hits even harder now. Full Frontal with Samantha Bee from TBS. A year ago, where there were still 9 Supreme Court justices and 0 presidents who hosted reality shows with Meatloaf, we had no way of knowing how vital a role Samantha Bee would serve in the Daily Shitstorm of 2016. But as soon as she debuted Full Frontal in February, Bee came in swing and never let up, proving herself the realest voice in fake news. Even more than her fellow Daily Show alum John Oliver, Bee doesn't mince words. Let's just have a Supreme Court vacancy for a year because some chinless dildo wants a justice who will use his gavel to plug up your abortion hole. Keep raging, Sam. It's going to be a long 2017. Black Mirror from Netflix. The scariest twist of Black Mirror, it looks less and less like science fiction as the year went on. The British anthology horror series blew up in its 3rd season, focusing on dystopian technology scenarios that seem so terrifying because most of them feel like no more than 10 minutes in the future. Especially the Nosedive episode where all of your personal interactions gets a Yelp-style 1 to 5-star rating. Best line, I don't know what's up with you, but I can't have a 2.6 at my wedding. Black Mirror makes you little less fascinated in scrolling through your phone and a little more curious about the people walking around you. Stranger Things from Netflix. Stranger Things spoke to the Barb in all of us, and for some of us, that's a lot of Barb. It became the year's word-of-mouth sensation. What initially seemed like a harmless 80s nostalgia trip ended up an emotional powerhouse. A group of comic geek kids in the X-Men and Dungeons & Dragons try to solve the mystery of what happened to their missing Fred in a small town Indiana circa 1983. They meet a strange, silent, and bald girl named Eleven who loves frozen waffles but harbors a few secrets of her own. With its perfect cast, both adults and kids, Stranger Things was more than just another supernatural thriller because it got the details of geek friendship so right. And to put the conceptual cherry on top of this snappy snack shack slushy, welcome back Winona Ryder. The People vs. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story, FX. The ultimate Hollywood murder trial, kicking off Ryan Murphy's American Crime Story franchise, that tells celebrity psychosis. America's favorite football jock turns out to be a psychopath coddled with a starstruck legal system. No matter how well you might think you already know the story, the People vs. O.J. Simpson is a whole new experience with out-of-nowhere career performances from John Travolta, Courtney B. Vance, Sarah Paulson, and yes, David Schwimmer. The ESPN O.J. documentary Made in America as a crucial companion piece. It hits home because of all America's darkest national obsessions seem to be lurking in here somewhere. And Atlanta from FX, a comedy hero for our times. Donald Glover shines as Ernest Marks, a Princeton dropout, back in his hometown trying to start his life over as a hip-hop manager. Glover's brainchild Atlanta stands as the most ambitious, outrageous, surreal, and brightest thing to hit TV all year. Runs wild with his rapper cousin Paperboy, as well as stoner philosopher King Darius, who's always up for a big debate about whether Malcolm X is secretly still alive. Nobody's seen the body since the funeral, or why black people don't know who Steve McQueen is. Darius does, but as he explains, yeah, well, I'm Nigerian. Atlanta digs into sex, money, race, and fatherhood with truly fearless flair. As a big Community fan who's been memorizing Glover's facial tics since Troy met Abed, I thought I already had a clear idea what a genius this guy is. I didn't. Here's to Season 2, Atlanta Can Rise Again Fast Enough. Viral trends come and go each year, and 2016 was no exception. There were dance challenges, optical illusions, and even a man in a red sweater that captured the attention of people all across the world. We can't talk about viral content from this year without mentioning the hashtag The Mannequin Challenge. High school students, celebrities, athletes, and probably many people you know have stood frozen in place to become part of this internet sensation. The Mannequin Challenge is a viral video sensation where people pose in frozen positions like mannequins as the camera pans around the scene they created. Many videos include Ray Sherman's son, Black Beatles. The trend is believed to have started at a high school, and since then, everyone from celebrities to athletes and politicians have joined in on the fun. Kenneth Bone, the American everyman, became an instant celebrity by calmly asking a question about energy policy during the debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Even his name has been a source of amusement on social media. The flip-flops, not to be outdone by the dress of 2015, this pair of flip-flops also had people talking. It was a similar debate. Some people see them as blue and black, while others see them as white and gold. The debut continues. Chewbacca Mom, Candace Payne, won the hearts of many with her infectious laughter after buying a Chewbacca mask at Kohl's. The Facebook video has been watched millions of times, and Candace appears on talk shows and newscasts around the country. Bald eagle stuck in a car grill. Pictures of a bald eagle stuck in the grill of a car also had people talking in 2016. Clay County Sheriff's Office in Florida posted several pictures of the trapped bird on their Facebook page, which was shared more than 16,000 times. The good news is they were able to rescue the eagle safely. Hidden cell phone. And you find the cell phone on the rug in the picture. If you said no, you're not alone. The picture stumped thousands of people. The original post on Facebook has been shared more than 155,000 times. Damn Daniel. Another internet obsession this year was a compilation of video clips centered around the shoes and outfits of a high school student named Daniel Lara. Lara's friend Joshua Holtz filmed the video that's been shared hundreds of thousands of times and landed them an appearance on Ellen DeGeneres' show. Water bottle flipping. A high school talent show routine turned into a viral sensation. Mike Senator flipped a half-filled water bottle and made it land upright on a table. The video resulted in kids around the country attempting the feat and got so out of hand in some places that schools banned the craze. And encouragement. This viral video was the feel-good story many people needed. Derek Culpepper's daughter Linda can be heard in the video offering her dad encouragement as he did her hair, and the people fell in love with it. Shiny legs or white paint. The optical illusion that's in this internet abuzz was a pair of legs. Were they shiny and oily, or did they have white paint on them? Many people said once you know it's paint, you can't see it any other way. Joanne the Scammer. She became an internet personality who often wears a fur coat and a messy wig. Brandon Miller created the character who is known to be a con artist, and the internet can't get enough of her. The internet darling has 708,000 followers on Twitter, and she even attended the MTV Video Music Awards. Hashtag Mr. Steal Your Grandma. This internet went nuts over a Texas grandpa and his good looks. Irving Randall is a 54-year-old teacher. His Instagram account has become a hit with people who can't get enough of his fashion style. Hashtag Running Man Challenge. 2016 was the year when the 1996 hit My Boo by Ghost Town DJs made a comeback. Two high school students, along with two Maryland basketball players, helped get the dance craze known as the Running Man Challenge going. Just like the viral sensations that came before it, like the Harlem Shake and the Nae Nae, celebrities and athletes join in on the fun. And Harambe. The story of Harambe has a tragic beginning that took an odd turn. The silverback gorilla was shot and killed at the Cincinnati Zoo after he grabbed a young boy who fell into his exhibit. The gorilla's death sparked protests, but the animal was soon turned into a viral meme, with its name and image showing up across social media and even at sports events. 2016 saw celebrities react to the election of Donald Trump as U.S. president, with many in show business shocked at the outcome of the vote. Singer Cher said the world will never be the same, while pop star Ariana Grande said she was in tears. Others remained more upbeat, with Madonna tweeting, "We never give up." But his supporters were celebrating, including actor Stephen Baldwin, who tweeted that he was, quote, proud to have been part of such an amazing history. Actor Steven Seagal wrote, "Congratulations at Real Donald Trump for your stunning victory over your opponent. Looking forward to making America great again." And actor Stacey Dash, best known for the film Clueless, another Trump fan, said America will be great again. However, those celebrities were in the minority. Parks and Recreation's actress Rashida Jones said it was a dark day. A fellow actress Christina Applegate said she was, quote, heartbroken. Hillary Clinton supporter Lady Gaga wrote, "In a room full of hope, we will be heard at D-Ray, hashtag Black Lives Matter, stand up for kindness, equality, and love. Nothing will stop us." She had made a pledge for unity at a Clinton rally in North Carolina ahead of the election, while Madonna played an acoustic concert in New York in a bid to drum up support for Hillary Clinton, performing a cover of John Lennon's Imagine. Singer Katy Perry, who also campaigned for a Clinton victory, wrote a series of tweets, including one saying, "We'll never be silenced, hashtag love Trump's hate." Rapper Macklemore wrote on Instagram, "I am disappointed, shocked, and shaken at my core by what has transpired." Snoop Dogg posted a picture of Marvin Gaye's album What's Going On, saying it reflected his mood. Actress Mia Farrow tweeted, "We must continue to stand for equality, our freedoms, for science and justice." American actor Chris Evans said it was embarrassing for America, adding, "We've let a hate monger lead our great nation. We've let a bully set our course. I'm devastated." And, in a reply to a question asking how to move forward, Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling wrote on Twitter, "We stand together, we stick up for the vulnerable." In music, the 58th Annual Grammy Awards were held on February 15, 2016 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Rapper Kendrick Lamar led the winners with 5 trophies, including Best Rap Album for To Pimp a Butterfly. Taylor Swift won 3 awards, including Album of the Year for 1989, becoming the only female artist to win Album of the Year twice as a main credit artist. Alabama Shakes won 3, including Best Alternative Music Album for Song and Color. Ed Sheeran won 2, including Song of the Year for Thinking Out Loud. Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk won for Record of the Year, and Meghan Trainor won for Best New Artist. Also in music, after more than 15 years of piracy, scalping, another boogeyman who shown up to slash jobs and loot artists, the music business in 2016 was not that terrible. It was Beyonce and Drake and Chance the Rapper, Rihanna, the return of Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose fronting AC/DC, Justin Bieber, and every song you could ever want streaming for one of a zillion different services. It's not like the Haycon days of $18 CDs are back or ever will be, but the record industry has grown for 2 straight years. It's the first time since 1999, and the Recording Industry Association of America reports music retail spending grew 8.1% in the first half of 2016. Plus, promoters figured out if you put The Who, the Rolling Stones, and Paul McCartney, and a bunch of other veteran rock superstars in the field, they could make $150 million. 6 reasons to feel optimistic about big music in 2016. YouTube recently announced it paid $1 billion to artists, publishers, and record labels in 2016. The RIAA reported revenues jumped from $3.2 billion in mid-year 2015 to $3.4 billion this past half-year. That's good news, but it's not to say artists are suddenly getting rich again off their songs and albums. Over the summer, Eagles manager Irving Azoff ripped YouTube in an open letter declaring, "You have built a business that works really well for you and for Google, but it doesn't work well for artists." Azoff has been leading a coalition of artists critical of the Digital Media Copyright Act, which allows YouTube to post any songs or videos as long as it's taken down with an artist's permission. Azoff tells Rolling Stone they're working hard to get tools to make it easier for you to take stuff down. But I get no sense that they're getting ready to pay anything near what they should pay per user. The concert business is super healthy. Ticket sales jumped 3.1% by mid-year, according to Pollstar. Live Nation reported record-setting revenues in the third quarter, and megastars such as Adele, the Rolling Stones, Beyonce, Madonna, Paul McCartney, and Bruce Springsteen, who grossed $107 million in the first half, were on the road. Plus, Beyonce, McCartney, Luke Bryan, and Coldplay were among the many artists who filled stadiums, with more on the way next year. David Zeldek says it's just strong. Live Nation's president of Global Talent says there are bands playing stadiums in multiple arenas already in 2017. We're coming off a strong year, and 17 is going to be the same way. The bigger festivals are bigger than ever. Desert Trip, starring the Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, The Who, and others, proved bigger than its Oldchella reputation, grossing an estimated $150 million last fall in Indio, California. And while Bonnaroo had an off year, Coachella's 600,000 fans and Lollapalooza's 400,000 fans scored record crowds. Album releases were events again. Beyonce dropped Lemonade as a surprise exclusive via Tidal and HBO. Drake took advantage of a reported multi-million-dollar Apple Music marketing campaign and blasted out views from the Six. Kanye West tinkered with The Life of Pablo for months before finally turning it into an official Tidal release. And Rihanna, Chance the Rapper, and Frank Ocean followed Beyonce's format and of making their albums available through one streaming service with strong sales success. It helped that all were among the year's best albums, worth paying the extra $10 per subscription for an extra streaming service beyond Spotify, which doesn't do exclusives. By late summer, though, there was a backlash in the industry after Frank Ocean went around Universal Music to release Blonde in August, his powerful longtime former label banned exclusives. Ticket buying bots have breathed their last electronic breaths. In January, Eric Schneiderman, New York's Attorney General, shamed the tickets reselling industry as a fixed game, detailing shady behavior by brokers and hackers who prevent fans from getting the best seats. One broker he declared bought 1,012 tickets to U2's 2014 show at Madison Square Garden, despite a 4-ticket limit. By year's end, U.S. Congress has passed the Bots Act, making all such activities illegal, although the penalty is kind of ambiguous, with unspecific prosecution by the Federal Trade Commission or states, and it's unclear whether Ticketmaster will succeed in identifying and reporting them. Old school radio is hanging in there. Plain old FM studios and stations have continued to dominate listeners' numbers despite competition from Pandora, Spotify, and the rest. A new survey shows 37% of adults prefer radio to those services. But the business of radio is not quite so healthy. The biggest company, iHeartMedia, continues to hemorrhage money. According to the San Antonio Express News, has been struggling with its lenders over $20 million in debt all year. CBS tried to spin off its radio division into a separate company, but nobody would buy it. And the third biggest radio company, Cumulus, is also struggling with massive debt. One of the few radio companies that's healthy is Town Square, which specializes in smaller local stations. We said goodbye to a television icon and one of the first reality competition shows on television. Charles Osgood announced he's stepping down as anchor after CBS Sunday Morning after 22 years. Osgood's 45-year career at CBS News was celebrated in a program on September 25th. The 9-minute edition of the show featured surprise guests, interviews, comments from well-wishers, and special performances. He will continue as the anchor of the Osgood File, his daily news commentary broadcast on the CBS radio network and stations around the country, and will also make occasional appearances on CBS This Morning. Osgood said of the weekend edition of the program, "Some of you may have heard rumors lately that I won't be hosting these Sunday morning broadcasts very much longer. I'm here to tell you that the rumors are true. For years now, people, even friends and family, have been asking me why I keep doing this considering my age. I am pushing 84. It's just that it's been such a joy doing it. Who wouldn't want to be the one who gets to introduce these terrific storytellers and the producers and writers and others who put this wonderful show together? I want to thank all of them, all of you in our still growing audience for your support and encouragement. It's been a great run, but after nearly 50 years at CBS, including the last 22 years here on Sunday morning, the time has come. The date is set for me to do my farewell Sunday morning. It's September the 25th, after which you can still see me on the radio. The Osgood Files continues. Randy Morrison, executive producer of CBS Sunday Morning, said, "Charlie is not just beloved by our viewers, he's beloved by all of us who work each week crafting the stories we put on the program. Working with him truly has been an honor, a privilege, and a joy. We look forward to paying tribute to him and his legendary career in September and, of course, seeing him on the radio." David Rhodes, the president of CBS News, says Charles Osgood has one of the most distinctive voices in broadcasting, guiding each broadcast, making sure the words were just right, and being a calming, reassuring presence to our viewers. His impeccable commitment to the quality inspires all of us at CBS News. And in April of this year, Ryan Seacrest signed off from American Idol for the last time, leading the singing competition's finale through a massive alumni reunion performance. The likes of Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, Ruben Studdard, Jennifer Hudson, Fantasia Barrino, and dozens of other past contestants and winners from the show's 15-year history came together to say goodbye to the Idol stage. The farewell episode included a string of performances, with plenty getting special attention on social media, including Jessica Sanchez's bombshell rendition of Celine Dion's The Prayer, and Judge Jennifer Lopez's glamorous debut of Ain't Your Mama. At the end of the night's performance, Paula Abdul, Randy Jackson, and Simon Cowell, the show's original judges, made an appearance during the finale to give Seacrest with the massive American Idol neon sign. And as 2016 draws to a close, we bid farewell to some of the notable figures we lost this year, from celebrities to icons, from the great average white duke to the purple one, to the greatest, to the man who made the 5 o'clock shadow cool, and even a famous mother and daughter from one of Hollywood's greatest family royalties. Although they're gone, their legacy still remains. David Bowie, 69, was an English singer, songwriter, and actor. He was a figure in popular music for over 5 decades, regarded by critics and musicians as an innovator, particularly for his work in the 70s. His career was marked by reinvention and visual presentation. His music and stagecraft significantly influenced popular music. During his lifetime, his record sales estimated at 140 million worldwide, making him one of the world's best-selling music artists. In the UK, he was awarded 9 platinum album certifications, 11 gold and 8 silver, releasing 11 #1 albums. In the US, he received 5 platinum and 7 gold certificates. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996. Born and raised in South London, Bowie developed an interest in music as a child, eventually studying art, music, and design before embarking on a professional career as a musician in 1963. Space Oddity became his first top 5 entry and UK singles chart after its release in July 1969. After a period of experimentation, he re-emerged in 1972 during the glam rock era with his flamboyant and androgynous alter ego Ziggy Stardust. The character was spearheaded by the success of his single Starman and the album The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, which won him widespread popularity. In 1975, Bowie's style shifted radically towards a sound he characterized as plastic soul, initially alienating his UK devotees, but garnered his first major US crossover success with the #1 single Fame and the album Young Americans. In 1976, Bowie starred in the cult film The Man Who Fell to Earth and released Station to Station. The following year, he further confounded musical explorations and expectations with the electronic-inflected album Low in 1977, first of 3 collaborations with Brian Eno that would come to be known as the Berlin Trilogies. Heroes in 1977 and Lodger in 1979 followed. Each album reached UK top 5 and received lasting critical praise. After an uneven commercial success in the late 1970s, Bowie had UK #1s with the 1980 singles Ashes to Ashes, its parent albums Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, and Under Pressure, 1981 collaboration with Queen. He then reached his commercial peak in 1983 with Let's Dance, with its title track topping both the UK and US charts. Through the 90s and the 2000s, Bowie continued to experiment with musical styles, including industrial and jungle. Bowie also continued acting. His roles include Major Sellers in Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence in 1983, the Goblin King Jareth in Labyrinth in 1986, Pontius Pilate in The Last Temptation of Christ in 1988, and Nikola Tesla in The Prestige in 2006, among other films and television appearances and cameos. He stopped concert touring after 2004, and his last live performance was at a charity event in 2006. In 2013, Bowie returned from a decades-long recording hiatus with the release of The Next Day. He remained active musically until he died from liver cancer 2 days after the release of his final album, Black Star, in 2016. Glenn Frey, 67, was an American singer-songwriter and actor, best known as the founding member of the rock band The Eagles. Frey was lead singer and frontman for The Eagles, roles he came to share with fellow member Don Henley, with whom he wrote most of The Eagles' material. Frey played guitar, piano, and keyboard. He sang lead vocals on songs such as Take It Easy, Peaceful Easy Feeling, Tequila Sunrise, Already Gone, Lion Eyes, New Kid in Town, and Heartache Tonight. After the breakup of the Eagles in 1980, Frey embarked on a successful solo career. He released his solo debut album, No Fun Allowed, in 1982, went on to record top 40 hits, The One You Love, Smuggler's Blues, Sexy Girl, The Heat Is On, You Belong to the City, True Love, Soul Searching, and Living Right. As a member of the Eagles, Frey won 6 Grammy Awards, 5 American Music Awards. The Eagles were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998, the first year they were nominated. Consolidating his solo recordings and those with the Eagles, Frey had 24 top 40 singles on the Billboard Hot 100 singles charts. Maurice White, 74, was an American singer-songwriter, musician, record producer, arranger, and bandleader. He was the founder of Earth, Wind & Fire, his band. He was also the older brother of current Earth, Wind & Fire member Verdine White and former member Fred White. He served as the band's main songwriter and record producer and was co-lead singer along with Philip Bailey. Sir George Martin, 90, was an English record producer, arranger, composer, conductor, audio engineer, musician. He was referred to as the fifth Beatle, including by Paul McCartney, in reference to his extensive involvement on each of the Beatles' original albums. Martin had 30 number one hit singles in the United Kingdom and 23 number one hits in the United States. Merle Haggard, 79, was an American singer, songwriter, guitarist, and fiddler. Along with Buck Owens, Haggard and his band The Strangers helped create the Bakersfield sound, which is characterized by the twang of Fender Telecaster and the unique mix with the traditional country steel guitar sound. New vocal harmony styles in which the words are minimal and a rough edge not heard on the most polished Nashville sound recordings of the same era. Haggard's childhood was troubled after the death of his father. He was incarcerated several times in his youth. He managed to turn his life around and launch a successful country music career, gaining popularity with his songs about the working class that occasionally contained themes contrary to the prevailing anti-Vietnam War sentiment of much popular music of the time. Between the 60s and the 80s, he had 38 number one hits on the U.S. country charts, several of which also made the Billboard All-Genre Singles charts. Haggard continued to release successful albums into the 2000s. Prince, 57, was an American singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and record producer. He was a musical innovator who was known for his eclectic work, flamboyant stage presence, extravagant dress and makeup, and wide vocal range. His music integrated a wide variety of styles, including funk, rock, R&B, new wave, soul, psychedelia, and pop. He sold over 100 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling artists of all time. He won 7 Grammys, an American Music Award, a Golden Globe, and an Academy Award for the film Purple Rain. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, his first year of eligibility. Rolling Stones ranked Prince at number 27 on its list of 100 greatest artists, the most influential artists of the rock and roll era. Prince was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and developed an interest in music as a young child. He signed a recording contract with Warner Bros. At the age of 18 and released his debut album For You in 1978. In his 1979 album, Prince went platinum. In his next 3 records, Dirty Mind in 1980, Controversy in 1981 and 1999 and 1982, continued his success showcasing his predominantly sexual lyrics and blending of funk, dance, and rock music. In 1984, he began referring to his backup band as the Revolution and released Purple Rain, which served as the soundtrack to his eponymous 1984 film debut and was met with widespread accolade. After releasing the albums Around the World in a Day in 1985 and Parade in 1986, the Revolution disbanded, and Prince released the double album Sign of the Times in 1987 as a solo artist. He released 3 more solo albums before debuting the New Power Generation band in 1991. In 1993, while in a contractual dispute with Warner Brothers, he changed his stage name to an unpronounceable symbol known as the Love Symbol. He began releasing new albums at a faster pace to remove himself from contractual obligations. He released 5 albums between 1994 and 1996 before signing with Arista Records in 1998. In 2000, he began to refer to himself as Prince again. He released 16 albums after that, including the platinum-selling Musicology in 2004. His final album, Hit 'em Run Phase 2, was the first released on the Tidal streaming service on December 12, 2015. Prince died from a fentanyl overdose at his Paisley Park recording studio home on April 21, 2016. Christina Grimmie, 22, was an American singer, songwriter, and YouTuber known for her participation on the NBC singing competition The Voice and for her covers of hit songs by contemporary pop musicians. In June 2011, she released her debut EP, Find Me. The studio album With Love was released in 2013. A second EP, Side A, was released in 2016. In 2014, Grimmie took part in Season 6 of The Voice and finished 3rd place. Adam Levine, her coach on the show, announced in the finale that regardless of the results, he would sign her to his label 222 Records. Lil Wayne also offered her to sign on his label Young Money Entertainment. She was signed with Island Records for a short time before being dropped. She took an acting role in 2016, making her motion picture debut in The Matchbreaker. On June 10, 2016, Grimmie died of gunshot wounds inflicted in a targeted attack that followed her concert performance in Orlando, Florida. Her attacker shot and killed himself moments later. Dr. Ralph Stanley, 89, was an American bluegrass artist known for his distinctive singing and banjo playing. Stanley began playing music in 1946, originally with his brother Carter as part of the Stanley Brothers, and most often as the leader of his band, the Clinch Mountain Boys. Scotty Moore, 84, was an American guitarist and recording engineer. He's best known for backing Elvis Presley in the first part of his career between 1954 and the beginning of Elvis's Hollywood years. Rock critic Dave Marsh credits Moore with the invention of power chording on the 1957 Presley song Jailhouse Rock, the intro of which Moore and drummer DJ Fontana, accordingly the latter, copied from a 40s swing version of the Anvil chorus. Moore was ranked 29th in Rolling Stone magazine's list of 100 greatest guitarists of all time. Rolling Stones lead guitarist Keith Richards said of Moore, "When I heard Heartbreak Hotel, I knew what I wanted to do in life. It was as plain as day. All I wanted to do in the world was to be able to play and sound like that. Everyone else wanted to be Elvis. I wanted to be Scotty." Juan Gabriel, 66, was a Mexican singer and songwriter, colloquially nicknamed Juanga and El Divo de Juarez. Gabriel was known for his flamboyant style, which broke barriers within the Latin music market. Bobby V, known professionally as Bobby V, was an American pop singer who was a teen idol in the early 1960s. According to Billboard magazine, he had 38 Hot 100 chart hits, 10 of which reached the top 20. He had 6 gold singles in his career. Leonard Cohen, 82, was a Canadian singer, songwriter, musician, poet, novelist, and painter. His work mostly explored religion, politics, isolation, sexuality, and personal relationships. Cohen pursued a career as a poet and novelist during the 1950s and early 1960s. He did not launch his music career until 1967 at the age of 33. His first album, Songs of Leonard Cohen, in 1967, was followed by 3 more albums of folk music, Songs from a Room in 1969, Songs of Love and Hate in 1971, and New Skin from the Old Ceremony in 1974. His 1977 record, Death of a Ladies' Man, which was co-written and co-produced by Phil Spector, which was a move away from Cohen's previous minimalist sound. In 1979, Cohen returned with the more traditional recent songs, which blended his acoustic style with jazz and Oriental and Mediterranean influences. Hallelujah was first released on Cohen's studio album, Various Positions, in 1984. I'm Your Man in 1988 marked Cohen's turn to synthesize productions and remained his most popular album. 1992, Cohen released his follow-up, The Future, which had dark lyrics and references to political social unrest. Cohen returned to music in 2001 with the release of 10 New Songs, which was a major hit in Canada and Europe. His 11th album, Dear Heather, followed in 2004. After a successful string of tours between 2008 and 2010, Cohen released 3 albums in the final 4 years of his life: Old Ideas, 2012, Popular Problems, 2014, and You Want It Darker, 2016, the last of which was released 3 weeks before his death. Leon Russell, 74, was an American musician and songwriter who was involved with numerous best-selling pop music records over the course of his 60-year career. His genres included pop, rock, blues, country, bluegrass, standards, gospel, and surf records, with 6 gold records to his credit. His collaborations ranked as some of the most successful in music history. As a touring musician, he performed with hundreds of Hall of Fame artists. He recorded 33 albums and wrote at least 430 songs. He wrote Delta Lady, recorded by Joe Cocker, and organized and performed with Cocker's Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour in 1970. More than 100 artists have recorded his song, A Song for You. As a pianist, he played in his early years on albums by the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean. On his first album, Leon Russell, in 1970, musicians included Eric Clapton, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison. One of his biggest early fans, Elton John, said Russell was a mentor and an inspiration. They recorded The Union in 2010, which was later nominated for a Grammy. Russell produced and played on recording sessions for Bob Dylan, Frank Sinatra, Ike and Tina Turner, the Rolling Stones, and others. He wrote and recorded the hits Tightrope and Lady Blue. He performed at the concert for Bangladesh in 1971, along with Dylan and Eric Clapton. In 2011, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. George Michael, 53, was an English singer, songwriter, and record producer who rose to fame as a member of the music duo Wham! He's best known for his work in the 80s and 90s, including hit singles such as Last Christmas and Wake Me Up Before You Go, and albums such as Faith in 1987 and Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, 1990. Michael sold more than 100 million records worldwide. His debut solo album, Faith, in 1987 sold more than 20 million copies worldwide. Michael garnered 7 #1 singles in the UK and 8 #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US, including Careless Whisper and Freedom 90. He's ranked among the best-selling British acts of all time, ranked by Billboard magazine as the 40th most successful artist ever. Michael won various awards throughout his 30th-year career, including 3 Brit Awards. He won Best British Male twice, 4 MTV Video Music Awards, 4 Ivor Novello Awards, 3 American Music Awards, and 2 Grammy Awards for 8 nominations. Michael, who was gay, was an active LGBT right campaigner and HIV/AIDS charity fundraiser. In the early hours of Christmas 2016, Michael was found dead in bed in his Oxfordshire home. We lost 3 giants in literature this year. Harper Lee, 89, was an American novelist widely known for writing To Kill a Mockingbird, published in 1960. Immediately successful, it won the 1961 Pulitzer Prize and has become a classic of modern American literature. Though Lee had only published this single book, in 2007 she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her contribution to literature. Additionally, Lee received numerous honorary degrees, though she declined to speak on those occasions. She was also known for assisting her close friend Truman Capote in his research for the book In Cold Blood in 1966. Capote was the basis for the character Dill in To Kill a Mockingbird. Another novel, Ghost Set a Watchman, was written in the mid-50s, was published in July 2015 as a sequel, though it was later confirmed to be To Kill a Mockingbird's first draft. Elie Wiesel, 87, was a Romanian-born American Jewish writer, professor, political activist, Nobel laureate, and Holocaust survivor. He was the author of 57 books, written mostly in French and English, including Night, a work based on his experience as a prisoner in the Auschwitz and Buchenwald concentration camps. Wiesel was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1986, at which the Norwegian Nobel Committee called him a messenger to mankind, saying that through his struggles to come to terms with his own personal experience of total humiliation and of the utter contempt for humanity shown in Hitler's death camps, as well as his practical work in the cause of peace, Wiesel had delivered a message of peace, atonement, and human dignity to humanity. He was a founding board member of the New York Human Rights Foundation and remained active throughout his life. Edward Albee, 88, was an American playwright known for works such as The Zoo Story, 1958, The Sandbox, 1959, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, 1962, and A Delicate Balance in 1966. 3 of his plays won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama, and 2 of his other works won the Tony Award for Best Play. His works are often considered as frank examinations of the modern condition. His early works reflect the mastery and the Americanization of the theater of the absurd that has found its peak works by European playwrights such as Samuel Beckett, Eugene Ionesco, and Jean Genet. His middle period comprised plays that explored the psychology of maturing, marriage, and sexual relationships. The sports world lost a giant this year. Muhammad Ali, 74, was an American professional boxer and activist. He was widely regarded as one of the most significant and celebrated sports figures of the 20th century. From early in his career, Ali was known as an inspiring, controversial, and polarizing figure both inside and outside the ring. Cassius Clay was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, and began training as an amateur boxer when he was 12 years old. At age 18, he won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Summer Olympics in Rome, after which he turned professional later that year. At age 22, in 1964, he won the WBA, the WBC, and the linear heavyweight titles from Sonny Liston in an upset. Clay then converted to Islam and changed his name from Cassius Clay, which he called his slave name, to Muhammad Ali. He set an example of racial pride for African Americans and resistance to white domination during the 1960s civil rights movement. In 1966, 2 years after winning the heavyweight title, Ali further antagonized the white establishment of the U.S. by refusing to conscript into the U.S. military, citing his religious beliefs in opposition to American involvement in the Vietnam War. He was eventually arrested, found guilty of draft evasion charges, and stripped of his boxing titles. He successfully appealed in the U.S. Supreme Court, which overturned his conviction in 1971, by which time he had not fought nearly 4 years, losing a period of peak performances as an athlete. Ali's actions as a conscientious objector to the war made him an icon for a larger counterculture generation. Ali is regarded as one of the leading heavyweight boxers of the 20th century. He remained the only 3-time linear heavyweight champion, having won the titles in 1964, 1974, and 1978. Ali reigned as the undisputed heavyweight champion. He is the only boxer to be named the Rings magazine's Fighter of the Year 6 times. He ranked as the greatest athlete of the 20th century by Sports Illustrated and the Sports Personality of the Century by the BBC. ESPN Sports Century ranked him the 3rd greatest athlete of the 20th century. Nicknamed the Greatest, he was involved in several historic boxing matches. Notable among these were the first listing fight, the Fight of the Century, Super Fight 2, and the Thrilla in Manila versus his rival Joe Frazier, and Rumble in the Jungle versus George Foreman. Gordie Howe, 88, Mr. Hockey, was a Canadian professional hockey player. From 1946 to 1980, he played 26 seasons in the National Hockey League and 6 seasons in the World Hockey League. His first 25 seasons were spent with the Detroit Red Wings. Nicknamed Mr. Hockey, Howe is considered the most complete player to ever play the game and one of the greatest ice hockey players of all time. 23 NHL All-Star, he held many of the sport's scoring records until they were broken in the 1980s by Wayne Gretzky. He continues to hold NHL records for most games and seasons played. Arnold Palmer, 87, was an American professional golfer who is generally regarded as one of the greatest players in the sport's history. Dating back to 1955, he won numerous events on both the PGA Tour and the circuit now known as the PGA Tour champion. Named the King, he was one of the golf's most popular stars and its most important trailblazer, the first superstar of the sports television age, which began in the 50s. Palmer's social impact on behalf of golf was perhaps unrivaled among fellow professionals. His humble background and plain-spoken popularity helped change the perception of golf as an elite, upper-class pastime to a more popular sport accessible to middle and working class. Palmer was part of the Big Three in the golf during the 1960s, along with Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player, who are widely credited with popularizing and commercializing the sports around the world. In a career that spanned more than 6 decades, he won 62 PGA Tour titles from 1955 to 1973, placing him at that time behind only Sam Snead and Ben Hogan, and still 5th on the tour's all-time victory list. He collected 7 major tours in a 6-plus year domination, from the 1958 Master to the 1964 Masters. He also won the PGA Tour Lifetime Achievement Award in 1998. In 1974, was one of the 13 original inductees into the World Golf Hall of Fame. 2016 also saw the loss of icons in movies, television, and fashion. Alan Rickman, 69, was an English actor and director known for playing a variety of roles on stage and on screen. Rickman trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London and was a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company, performing in modern and classic theater productions. His first big television part came in 1982, but his big break was the Victime de Valmont in the stage production of Les Lions Dangereux, 1985, for which he was nominated for a Tony Award. Rickman gained wider notice for his film performances as Hans Gruber in Die Hard and Sirius Snape in the Harry Potter film series. Abe Vigoda, 94, was an American actor and comedian known for a number of roles, especially his portrayal of Salvatore Tesso in The Godfather, and Phil Fish in Barney Miller from 1975 to 1978, and Fish from 1977 to 1978. George Gaines, 99, was an American singer, actor, voice artist, and comedic performer of stage, screen, and television. Gaines' most recognizable role in cinema were arguably that of Commandant Eric Lazard in the Police Academy series and the comedy film Tootsie. To television fans, he is perhaps best remembered as the curmudgeonly, belovable foster parent Henry Warnemont on the NBC series Punky Brewster, as a high-powered theatrical producer Arthur Fieldman on the Days and Nights of Molly Dodd, in which Gaines' real-life wife Aileen Ann McLeary co-starred as his love interest, and as Frank Smith, the mob boss, brought down by Luke Spencer, played by Anthony Geary, on the soap opera General Hospital. George Kennedy, 91, was an American actor who appeared in more than 200 film and television productions. He is best remembered for portraying Dragline opposite Paul Newman in Cool Hand Luke in 1967, for which he won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor and was nominated for the corresponding Golden Globe. He received the second Golden Globe nomination for portraying Joe Petrini in Airport in 1970. Kennedy was the only actor to appear in all 4 films in the Airport series, and reprised the role of Joe Petrini 3 times. He was also widely recognized as Police Captain Ed Hockin in the Naked Gun series of comedy films and corrupt oil tycoon Carter McKay in the original Dallas television series. Nancy Reagan, 94, was an American actress and the wife of the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. She served as the First Lady of the United States from 1981 to 1989. As Nancy Davis, she was a Hollywood actress in the 40s and 50s, starring in films such as The Next Voice You Hear, Night into Morning, and Donovan's Brain. In 1952, she married Ronald Reagan, who was then the president of the Screen Actors Guild. They had 2 children together. Reagan was the First Lady of California when her husband was governor from 1967 to 1975. She began to work for the Foster Grandparents Program. Reagan became First Lady of the United States in January 1981 following her husband's victory in the 1980s presidential election. She was criticized early in his first term, largely due to her decision to replace the White House China, despite it being paid for by private donations. She aimed to restore a Kennedy-esque glamour to the White House following years of laxformity, and her interests of high-end fashion garnered much attention as well as criticism. She championed recreational drug prevention causes by founding the Just Say No drug awareness campaign, which was considered her major initiative as First Lady. More discussions of her role ensued when it was revealed in 1988 that she had consulted an astrologer to assist in planning the president's schedule after the attempted assassination of her husband in 1981. She had a strong influence on her husband and played a role in a few of his personnel and diplomatic decisions. The Reagans retired to their home in Bel Air, Los Angeles, California in 1989. Reagan devoted most of her time to caring for her husband, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 1994, until his death at the age of 93 in 2004. Reagan remained active within the Reagan Library and in politics, particularly in support of embryonic stem cell research, until her death this March. Gary Shandling, since 66, was an American stand-up comedian, actor, writer, and producer best known for his work on It's Gary Shandling Show and The Larry Sanders Show. Shandling began his career writing for sitcoms such as Sanford and Son and Welcome Back, Kotter. He made a successful stand-up performance on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson and became a frequent guest host on the show. Shandling was for a time considering the leading contender to replace Carson. Other hopefuls were Joan Rivers, David Letterman, and David Brenner. In 1986, he created Gary Shandling's show for Showtime. It was nominated for 4 Emmy Awards, including one for Shandling, and lasted until 1990. The second show, titled The Larry Sanders Show, which began airing on HBO in 1992, was even more successful. Shandling was nominated for 18 Emmy Awards for the show and won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series in 1988, along with Peter Tomlin for writing the series finale. In films, he had a recurring role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, appearing in Iron Man 2 and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. He also lent his voice to Vern in DreamWorks' animation Over the Edge. Patty Duke, 69, was an American actress of stage, film, and television. She became best known as the teen star, winning an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress at the age of 16 for a role as Helen Keller in The Miracle Worker in 1962, a role which she had originated on Broadway. The following year, she was given her own show, The Patty Duke Show, in which she played identical cousins. She later progressed to more mature roles, such as of Neely O'Hara in the film Valleys of Dolls. Over the course of her career, she received 10 Emmy Award nominations and 3 Emmy Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. Duke also served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild from 1985 to 1988. Duke was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 1982, after which she devoted much of her time to advocating for and educating the public on mental health issues. Doris Roberts, 90, was an American actress, author, and philanthropist whose career spanned 6 decades on television. She appeared as a guest on many talk and variety shows, along with appearing as a panelist on several game shows. She was an advocate of animal rights and animal rights activism, supporting groups such as the United Activists for Animal Rights. She achieved continued success for co-starring as Raymond Baron's mother, Marie, on the long-running sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond, which ran from 1996 to 2005. She played Mildred Kebs in Remington Steele from 1983 to 1987, and towards the end of her acting career, she had a prominent role opposite Tyler Perry in Medea's Witness Protection in 2012. Alan Young, 96, was a British-born Canadian-American actor, voice actor, comedian, and radio and television host personality who TV Guide called the Charlie Chaplin of television. He was best known for his role as naive Wilbur Post in the television comedy series Mr. Ed, and as the voice of Scrooge McDuck in Disney films, TV series, and video games. The Alan Young Show, which ran on radio and television, the latter garnering him 2 Emmy Awards. He also appeared in a number of feature films starting from 1946, including the 1960s The Time Machine, and from the 80s gained a new generation of viewers, appearing in numerous Walt Disney production films as both an actor and voice actor. Tragically, we lost Anton Yelchin, 27, the American film and television actor known for portraying Pavel Chekhov in the Star Trek reboot series, Jacob Helm in Like Crazy, and for several other prominent roles. He appeared on the television series Huff and appeared in the films Alpha Dog in 2007, Terminator Salvation 2009, Charlie Bartlett 2007, Fright Night 2011, Smurfs 2011, Only Lovers Left Alive 2013, and The Green Room in 2015. He appeared in Star Trek 2009, Star Trek Into Darkness 2013, and the posthumously released Star Trek Beyond 2016. In the early morning hours of June 19, 2016, Yelchin was found by friends pinned between his Jeep Grand Cherokee and a brick pillar outside his home in a Studio, California home, in which was described as a freak accident. He was pronounced dead later that day at the age of 27. Gary Marshall, 81, was an American actor, director, producer, writer, voice artist, and comedian, best known for creating Happy Days and its various spin-offs, developing Neil Simon's 1965 play The Odd Couple for television, and directing Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, Mother's Day, The Princess Diary, and The Princess Diary 2, Royal Engagement. He provided the voice of Buck Cluck in Chicken Little and its video game adaptation. Morley Safer, 84, was a Canadian-American broadcast journalist, reporter, and correspondent for CBS News. He is best known for his long tenure on the news magazine 60 Minutes, whose cast he joined in 1970 after its second year on television. He was the longest-serving reporter on 60 Minutes, the most watched and most profitable program in television history. Gwen Ifill, 61, was an American Peabody Award-winning journalist, television newscaster, and author. In 1999, she became the first African-American woman to host a nationally televised U.S. public affairs program with Washington Week in Review. She was the moderator and managing editor of Washington Week and co-anchored and co-managed editor with Judy Woodruff of PBS NewsHour, both of which aired on PBS. Ifill was a political analyst and moderated the 2004 and 2008 American vice presidential debates. She authored the best-selling book The Breakthrough: Politics and Race in the Age of Obama. Kenny Baker, 81, was an English actor and musician. He was best known for portraying the character R2-D2 in the Star Wars science fiction movie franchise. Flavius Finkel, 93, was an American actor known as a star of Yiddish theater and for his role as Lord Douglas Wambach on the television series Picket Fences, for which he earned an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series in 1994. He's also known for his portrayal of Harvey Lipschultz, a crotchety history teacher, on the television series Boston Public. Arthur Hiller, 92, was a Canadian-American television and film director, having directed over 33 films during his 50-year career. He began his career directing television in Canada and later in the U.S. By the late 1950s, he began directing films, most often comedies. He also directed dramas and romantic subjects such as Love Story in 1970, which was nominated for 7 Oscars. Hiller collaborated on a number of films with screenwriter Patty Chayefsky and Neil Simon. Among his other notable films were The Americanization of Emily in 1964, Tupac in 1967, The Hospital in 1971, The Out-of-Towners 1970, Plaza Suite 1971, The Man in the Glass Booth 1975, Silver Streak in 1976, and The In-Laws in 1979, and Outrageous Fortune in 1987. Sonia Rykiel, 86, was a French fashion designer and writer. She created the Poor Boy sweater, which was featured on the cover of French Elle magazine. Her knitwear designs and new fashion techniques led her to be dubbed the Queen of Knits. The Sonia Rykiel label was founded in 1968 upon the opening of her first store, making clothing, accessories, and fragrances. Rykiel was also a writer, and her first book was published in 1979. In 2012, Rykiel revealed that she was suffering from Parkinson's. She died from complications of the disease this August. Gene Wilder, 83, was an American film and theater comic actor, screenwriter, film director, and author. Wilder began his career on stage and made his screen debut in an episode of the TV series The Play of the Week in 1961. Although his first film role was portraying a hostage in 1967's motion picture Bonnie and Clyde, Wilder's first major role was Leo Bloom in the 1968 film The Producers, which he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. This was the first in a series of collaborations with writer-director Mel Brooks, including 1974's Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, which Wilder co-wrote, garnering the pair an Academy Award nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. Wilder was known for portraying Willy Wonka in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 1971, and for his 4 films with Richard Pryor: Silver Streak, 1976, Stir Crazy, 1980, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, 1989, and Another You. Wilder directed and wrote several of his own films, including The Woman in Red in 1984, which starred his third wife, actress Gilda Radner. Charmaine Carr, 73, was an American actress and singer best known for her role as Liesl, the eldest Von Trapp daughter, in the 1965 film version of The Sound of Music. Robert Vaughn, 83, was an American actor noted for his stage, film, and television work. His best-known TV roles include suave spy Napoleon Solo in the 1960s series The Man from U.N.C.L.E., wealthy detective Harry Rule in the 1970s series The Protectors, Morgan Wendell in the 1978-1979 miniseries Centennial, and the formidable General Hunt Stockwell in the 5th season of the 1980 series The A-Team. In film, he played quiet, skittish gunman Lee in The Magnificent Seven, Major Paul Kruger in The Bridge of Remington, the voice of Proteus IV, the computer villain in Demon Seed, Walter Chalmers in Bullet, Ross Webster in Superman 3, and war veteran Chester A. Quinn in The Young Philadelphians, which earned him a 1960s Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Florence Henderson, 83, was an American actress and singer with a career spanning 6 decades. She is best remembered for her starring role as matriarch Carol Brady on the ABC sitcom The Brady Bunch from 1969 to 1974. Henderson also appeared in films as well as on stage and hosted several long-running cooking and variety shows over the years. She appeared as a guest on many scripted and non-scripted talk and reality shows, television programs, and as a panelist on numerous game shows. She was a contestant on Dancing with the Stars in 2010. Henderson hosted her own talk show, The Flores Henderson Show, and cooking show, Who's Cooking with Flores Henderson, on Retirement Living TV during the years leading up to her death at the age of 83 on Thanksgiving Day this year from heart failure. Ron Glass, 71, was an American actor. He was known for his roles as literary detective Ron Harris in the television sitcom Barney Miller from 1975 to 1982, and as the spiritual shepherd Daryl Book in the 2000 science fiction series Firefly and its sequel film Serenity. Alan Thicke, 69, was a Canadian actor, songwriter, and game and talk show host. He was best known for his role as Jason Seaver, the father of the ABC television series Growing Pains, which ran for 7 seasons. Zsa Gabor, 99, was a Hungarian-American actress and socialite. Her sisters were actresses Eva and Magda Gabor. Gabor began her stage career in Vienna and was crowned Miss Hungary in 1936. She immigrated from Hungary to the United States in 1941, becoming a sought-after actress with European flair and style. She was considered to have a personality that exuded charm and grace. Her first film role was a supporting role in Lovely to Look At. She later acted in We're Not Married and played one of her few leading roles in the John Huston-directed film Moulin Rouge in 1952. Huston would later describe her as a credible actress. Outside her acting career, Gabor was known for her extravagant Hollywood lifestyle, her glamorous personality, and her many marriages. In total, Gabor had 9 husbands, including hotel magnate Conrad Hilton and actor George Saunders. She once said, "Men have always liked me, and I've always liked men, but like a mannish man, a man who knows how to talk and treat a woman, not just a man with muscles." Carrie Fisher, 60, was an American actress, screenwriter, author, producer, and speaker. She was known for playing Princess Leia in the Star Wars film. Her other film roles include Shampoo in 1975, The Blues Brothers in 1980, Hannah and Her Sisters in 1986, The Burbs 1989, and When Harry Met Sally 1989. Fisher was also known for her semi-autobiographical novels, including Postcards from the Edge and the screenplay for the film of the same name, as well as her autobiographical one-woman play and its non-fiction book Wishful Drinking, based on the show. And in an ironic twist of fate, a day later, Carrie Fisher's mother, Debbie Reynolds, died. She was 84, an American actress, singer, businesswoman, film historian, and humanitarian. Her breakthrough role was the portrayal of Helen Kane in the 1950s film Three Little Words, for which she was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Newcomer. However, it was her first leading role in 1952 at the age of 19 as Katie Sedlin in Singing in the Rain. By that, has set her path on fame. By the mid-50s, she was a major star. Other notable successes included The Affairs of Dobie Gillis in 1953, Susan Slept Here in 1954, Bundle of Joy in 1956, which garnered her a Golden Globe nomination, The Catered Affair, which garnered her a 1956 National Board of Review Best Supporting Actress Award, and Tammy and the Bachelor 1957, in which she performed of the song Tammy, which reached number 1 on the music charts. In 1959, she released her first pop music album entitled Debbie. She starred in How the West Was Won in 1963 and The Unsinkable Molly Brown in 1964, a biographical film about the famous boisterous Molly Brown. Her performance as Brown earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress. Her other notable films include The Singing Nun in 1966, Divorce American Style in 1967, What's the Matter with Helen in 1971, and Mother in 1996, which garnered her a Golden Globe nomination, and In and Out in 1997. Reynolds was also a noted cabaret performer. In 1979, she founded the Debbie Reynolds Dance Studio in North Hollywood, which still operates today. In 1969, she starred in her own television show, Debbie Reynolds Show, for which she received a Golden Globe nomination. In 1973, Reynolds starred in the Broadway revival of the musical Irene and was nominated for the Tony Award for Best Lead Actress in a Musical. She was also nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award and her performance in A Gift of Love in 1999, and an Emmy Award for playing Grace's mother Bobby on Will It Grace. At the turn of the millennium, Reynolds reached a new younger generation with her role as Aggie Cromwell in Disney's Halloween Town series. In 1988, she released her autobiography titled Debbie, My Life, and in 2013 she released an updated version titled Unsinkable, a Memoir. Reynolds was a noted businesswoman, having operated her own hotel in Las Vegas. She was also a collector of film memorabilia, beginning with Ido's purchase at the landmark 1970 MGM auction. She served as president of the Italians, an organization dedicated to mental health causes, and has continued to perform successfully on stage, television, and film into her 80s. In January 2015, Reynolds received the Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award, and in 2016 she received the Academy Award Jean Herschel Humanitarian Award. In the same year, a documentary about her life was released titled Bright Lights, starring Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. May they both rest in peace, as well as all the other noble figures we lost in 2016. And that is your entertainment report for the year 2016. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for listening to the show 5 days a week, and I hope whatever resolutions you have for 2017 all come to fruition. I'll be back on Monday for the first new episode of the new year. Until then, follow us on all social media platforms, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, on Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to this special episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Everyone, Happy New Year, good night, and God bless you all.